Well, good evening everybody. Welcome back to Co-Racing League. This is the second round of the championship and we're here for the Japanese Grand Prix here in Suzuka. My name is ILT Indigo or Jamie and today I'm joined by Tony.
Hello.
Nice to have you here, mate. How are you doing?
I'm doing alright. It's good to be here for the first time commentating here.
It is indeed, and the last time we commentated was quite a while ago, I think back in the 2021 game before SBR, but we are here for Code this time with an 18-minute session. Last time we were at the Austrian Grand Prix, and now we're here in Asia at the Japanese Grand Prix in Suzuka then, so you can see some cars coming out of the track. And what are you expecting here tonight, Tony?
I'm expecting quite an eventful race, to be honest. A lot of chances, especially the hairpin, to overtake somebody, especially down the inside. I think we'll see a lot of crashes, especially going through sector 1, as somebody might hit the curb wrong, hit a bit of grass and go into the wall.
We saw some of that in Tier 4 as well, and the Tier 2 stream is on as well. I think for Tier 2, I just forgot the name now, sorry about that. But oh, it was Strange who took pole position in Tier 2, but the race is still going ahead, so we can't watch that obviously as we're commons for Tier 1, but hopefully it turns out it's a good race. I commentated for Tier 2, and I think there was 2 safety cars, but the strategy around here was completely different to what I saw. What I was expecting in the race. The strategy was soft and medium, or medium to soft for some people. So is that the strategy around here, Tony?
It's quite, for the laps, it's quite shorter than some tracks, and it's a long lap time, but it's quite a short track. But I would expect the tyre wear to be higher, as on other games it was very high, and soft medium was not the way to go. But it seems on this game, well, the tyre wear's not as high.
Quite surprising as well, especially in that first sector, and Spoon in the middle sector as well, carrying a lot of speed through those corners. And Isak Kush I'm on board with right now, who the driver from Singapore almost won his home Grand Prix last season, but unfortunately tagged Giroud and got a penalty and fell down the order. What could it have been for Isak Kush without that safety car too, which hindered his progress in the race. But we've got him coming around the final corner now to start his first flying lap then. DRS on board with the Hassman then as he approaches speed about 325 kilometers an hour as we head down into the first corner, flicking in the 50 meter will carry a lot of speed, and then you brake for turn number 2 here and using the engine to rotate the car too. Is coming through turn number 3 now, carrying the speed in 6th gear, dab on the brakes, staying in 6th gear. Some people like to go down to 5th, which he has done just now, and you can see the back end just stepped out, but flicked it in very nicely, trying to balance the car out, coming through Dunlop, 6th gear, keep off the curb there because they'll drag you off the track and into the wall. Coming through the first sector, or first Degner, sorry, end of the first sector, second Degner. Let's see how he takes it. Nice and hooked up there. Don't want to take too much curb on the outside because it will drag you off the track or keep you on the curb. As we come into the hairpin, breaking a straight line, then down in second gear we go, upshifted third to immediately on the exit there, and no wheel spin whatsoever. So that was a decent exit there from Isak Kush there as he carries all that speed and momentum down this short straight that keeps the right hand side as much as possible. Before we come into smooth, flick it in into 6th gear, hitting the apex, running out wide on the curb. It's the second part. Don't want to really touch that curb on the inside, but use the outside curb, using all the track and get away with 2. Might get a distant tow from the car ahead of us. That is a Red Bull then, who's about to start his first flying lap down. Give him a distant tow from behind. Coming into 130R then. 190 miles an hour, headed into the braking zone, down into 3rd gear, use the apex on the inside, and hugging the apex on the inside as well. Bit oversteering the exit there, but as he makes his way now towards the line, it's going to be a 26.8, so is that a decent lap time, Tony?
That is quite a good banker, especially for at the start of the race. Well, for a banker, it's great. I saw Chihuahua quite far behind. I think he was getting a bit of turbulent air behind Isaac because you went a bit too close, but as we've seen, Nathan puts in a 0.4, goes 4/10 quicker than Isaac.
Wow, and I thought Isak Kush's time was very good, ran on board with him as a banker, but Nathan just obliterated that. As Leo goes into P2 then, in the Williams with a 26.7, was in Alpine last season, has transferred over to the Williams with Nathan alongside him as his teammate then, so 5 lap times on the board so far, and I think we've got Moller up coming towards the final 2 corners as Resify is sorry, I just looking at Kenny where he's crashed. Well, I don't know where he's crashed. There's a yellow flag in the hairpin, but Moller ups into P4, Resify to P5.
He's crashed at the corner before the hairpin. The
Oh,
right-hander.
that's very interesting. And Luke's completely
Quite an easy corner, to be fair. Quite an easy corner to lose the back end. As Euron goes fastest with a .490, 2 thousandths off of Nathan. goes ahead into provisional pole.
And Jeroen Visser,
Traffic there.
the man who finished in P2 at the Austrian Grand Prix, looking to claim his first win since Singapore, which was 5 races ago, as he continues that streak, hoping to end it here tonight if he can do so. CPI Troye finally back, and he missed the pre-season and the Austrian Grand Prix. He was hoping to have somebody else.
Right,
I was about to say, mate, he's hoping to have somebody else alongside him.
That's a good lap from Troy, a great banker, just to put it 3 tenths behind, 2.5 tenths behind the provisional pole.
And with Troye in the mix, I'm very intrigued to see what happens as well, with all those guys fighting very hard as we saw the Austrian Grand Prix, along with Lele, who I don't think is here tonight, so unfortunately he'll miss the Japanese Grand Prix. I think he is a full-time driver, isn't he?
He is, yeah, I believe so. I think he's obviously just missing today.
Yes, too scared to take the streets of Japan, or track.
Then the next driver to cross the line to set a lap is Nathan, who's gone into 130RR. I didn't see how much he's up by. He's going into the final chicane now. Because the corner quite cleanly, it's a nice chicane. There's a good exit, going into 4th, 5th, and he's going to go across the line and set a... He's got P9 with 27.1. Quite a decent lap.
And just goes ahead of Kyle into P10 as well. So 3 drivers who have set a lap time, including Kenny, which is 4, but one of them's gone out of the pit lane. In fact, Leroy's gone out of the pit lane as well, along with Pease. So Pease, yeah, still in the pit lane. I don't know what the situation with Pease, if he's got a qualifying ban or not, I'm quite sure, because we did see some drama last season, or last race with him, so I wonder if that's carried over to this. But majority of drivers in the pit lane then just completed the first few laps, and Jeroen's got the quickest time of a 26.4 then, 2 thousandths quicker, as you mentioned, ahead of QVR Nathan for P2, who's currently on his outlap then, so we might as well ride on board with him to see if he can improve. I think he only needs 2 thousandths to improve.
Yeah, that is the first runs done. Now people coming out for the second runs, or even the first runs of the session, as they didn't get a very early banker lap in. Like Leroy, Julian.
And Pease as well in P18. Kenny unfortunately crashed. Where Danny Fiat crashed, if he did crash before the hairpin. Remember that Danny Fiat crash when he touched the grass on the outside and he careered into the wall? Remember that one?
Yeah, that was a very bad crash.
It's quite unusual to crash there, but as Martin Bundle said, it was a driver ever. He dipped a wheel in the grass and spun and hit the wall, but thankfully he was okay. I think it was a dry qualifier session as well back in 2015. I don't remember much of it, but I think Hamilton went on to win that Grand Prix ahead of Rosberg and Vettel in that year. With 10 minutes left to go in the qualifying then, Nathan and Leo are coming out to complete their second runs. The majority of drivers just waiting a little bit longer in the pit lane to get some, or just to wait. And now Jeroen and Nathan are coming out too of the pit lane. We're going to go on board QV on Nathan to see how he does on his second flying lap and see what he could do then on his second attempt here in qualifying then. So picking up marbles before on his lap, it gets rid of them immediately going on the racing line here. And now DRS enabled for the Mercedes driver as they make our way down into turn number 1. Let's see how he takes it here. Flick it in at the 50-meter board, carrying the speed through, then braking for turn number 2. Getting on the throttle immediately, then using all the curb on the outside. Headed into turn number 3 to 6th gear. Turn 4 lift off, dab on the brake, and now turn number 5 here, just lifting off, no brake, and a little bit of brake apply for turn number 6 then as we head into Dunlop. A flat out corner it should be, which he does do. Gets a nice exit as well, very important corner there as we ride off the first sector with a 30.9. He's 2 inches quicker in that first sector on his previous best. Coming out of the second deck there, making our way now up towards the hairpin, braking in a straight line, and let's see how he does through here. No lockups it seems for Nathan, upshifting into 3rd gear, getting back on the throttle using the outside curve too. A bit of grass picked up, but gets rid of it immediately then. Picking up the marbles now as he takes the tight line. And coming in spoon. Yeah, he might do as well, but there's, how many cars are there, Tony? 4?
3.
I think I need to put my glasses on here because I can barely see. I don't even know where they are.
Moving out the way now.
And look, he's 800s up in that middle sector too, so Nathan on course might be taking pole position, but I think he might want to extend that margin over Jeroen because he'll definitely go quicker as well as he makes his way over the 2 chicanes, taking it very nicely there as he makes his way towards the line now. It's a 26.4. Wow, Teddy, look at that.
This is a very clean lap. Looked clean all throughout. Maybe a bit of moment in spoon going a tiny bit wide and hitting the curb. But other than that, it was a very nice lap for Nathan. But now
might
Euron's on his lap now.
you might want to keep an eye on Leo.
Yeah, he is a very big dark horse. He's a very quick driver.
I say that because he went 3 tenths quicker in the middle sector, but he makes his way down towards the line at 26.4, and he takes pole by 4 thousandths. Wow, Leo on pole there. What an incredible lap!
Driver. See what Euron's doing. Euron is 1,000th down on his time, but I'm sure he's got a lot of time to pick up in sector 2, especially in sector 3 as well. See where he's strongest at. This year bit's quite nice. It goes on throttle quite early. Someone coming across the line. Right, your run goes into Spoon, goes into 6th gear instead of 5th. And down into 5th, not 4th. Oh, is it a big snap going into exit of Spoon? That is damaged his time by a lot, and I don't think it's going to be enough for provisional pole, surely. Yeah, he's a 10th down in his time. See if he can salvage a bit of the chicane. No, he rear locks and goes off the track.
Tony, I know the drivers are not exactly in the way, but being at the side of the track, does that put an effect on your mind a little bit, just affecting your sight just a little bit, if you know what I mean?
Say that again?
So I know there was drivers who were off the track and out of Giroud's way, but do you think that might have an effect?
Yeah, drivers close to you always have an effect on you, especially it's massive distractions because you don't know what that car's going to do. They could either just swerve or start to warm up the tyres and just not even see you, and that could cause an incident, put you on a wall and then be qualifying. So yeah, big distractions, especially on the sideline. And that was Troy went to P4.
I think he made a slight mistake. I think it was in the final 2 corners, so more time to be found from there for Tony's, Troyer's point of view. And Sweet Crown, 600s up in the first sector, so might want to keep an eye on him. He was the last week's race winner in Austria after a fantastic drive for him. No mistakes, no penalties, which won him the race, and pure pace as well with the right strategy on hand. He's 700s up in that middle sector then, which is not going to be enough, so he needs to find about 2 more tenths in this final sector if he could do so, as he makes his way now into the final 2 corners. Hooks it up really nicely. Can he get in the throttle with no wheel spin, which some people haven't able to do, and he does as he makes his way now towards the line. It's a 26.5, so he's improved, but not enough though, evidently.
Wow, just under 2 tenths separate the top 6. I reckon we get a switch around for poles quite a bit in this session, as Sweet Crown and Troy are only a 10th off. What is that?
I don't know what's going on with the McLaren and the Haas there, but they both touched on their in laps, I think.
As a McLaren, Aston Martin, McLaren and Alfa Romeo just all in that little section. I don't know what's going on with McLaren with Jules Breen and Izzat, but...
Well, it looks like Izzat's run out of fuel. Yeah, I thought he blocked him, but evidently it doesn't matter anyway because he's run out of fuel, so would have made it to the line if he didn't get blocked or not. I only saw a little bit afterwards, so I'm not quite sure what happened between those two.
I have no idea. I was checking to see if it maybe got a grid penalty. None of them got a grid penalty. So...
Oh, Nathan, see you on Nathan in the Williams, went out wide coming out the first part of Spoon, and unfortunately he's validated. 2 tenths up continuing as well. That's a shame for Nathan there.
He probably lost about a 10th maybe on the exit as well, going wide.
It actually doesn't gain you much time, does it?
No, it doesn't, because you get beached on the curb, slows you down. Slows your car down quite a lot, especially on the road to 130. It's so long, especially it's a flat out corner.
So we've got a majority of drivers in the pit lane then, and I think they're all coming to the pit lane. Liam's in the pit, Sparta's run out of fuel, so expect him to be in the pit lane.
Only Muller up on a flying lap in sector 1 at the moment.
And he's your replacement, isn't he, Muller up?
Yeah, he is. Hopefully he does very well for the AlphaTauri team.
I know, AlphaTauri's got a good strong lineup, and hopefully Muller can also be up there too. I think he had some decent pace back at the Austrian Grand Prix. I remember mentioning his name quite a lot. He makes his way now into the hairpin. Oh, lose the back end on exit.
That wasn't losing too much time, but again, it's a long run to Spoon. So maybe he's lost maybe 500ths to a 10th coming up to the Spoon corner now. The 6th gear runs a little bit wide.
Too
hitting the
wide.
curb.
And again.
Again, too wide on invalidates. That's really unfortunate. He might be quite a bit up, to be fair. Yeah, 2.5 tenths up. Wow.
What? It's
That
going to
would
put
have
him
put him
into
in the top 7.
P7?
Yeah. Especially if he gains time on this corner, which he might have, because it's such a tricky corner to get, especially early on in the session. But he's going to go into the pits and go out for another run, hopefully. And see if he's got a fresh set of tyres. I don't think he might have. I think that is all his sets used, I believe. But now we all see the drivers coming out for the final runs now. We're going to see a lot of carnage, especially close to each other.
Yeah, especially as they build up tyre temperature as well, using the brakes and throttle at the same time to build up that tyre temperature and lose a bit of fuel on the way too. So we've got all the drivers now coming out of the circuit, barring Moller up as they expect him to. Might not come out.
What do you think of that, by the way?
Well,
what do you think of that? Like, there's no point even weaving anymore to warm up tyres. Like, you put your brake bias up to the maximum and just hold the acceleration and brake at the same time. You get 95-degree tyres instantly.
I thought it was 85 degrees you wanted it on a flying lap, not 95.
No, you want it around like 90 degrees. I mean, you can get it to that like literally instantly. You can get it to whatever temperature you want now. I don't think it's realistic, and I personally don't like it.
I don't really like it either. The weave is more realistic, and brake and throttle. I find that I don't know how to explain this really, but it's just a bit weird as well.
And your engine wouldn't like it, would it?
No, but Nathan here is backed out, mate, and he's got 1 minute and 15 seconds left to go. So can he make it for another run? He might join the back of the queue.
He can get around if he speeds up.
Wow, he might be in the back foot.
I don't think he'll have enough traffic, to be fair. Yeah, he's gonna be missing out on quite a bit of time, especially with he won't have the freshest of tyres, will he? So Jeroen and Leo, Sweet Crown, Troy and Izza need to capitalise on Nathan's mistake.
Reservoir took too much curb in turn number 3, but gets away with it. So let's see how his lap unfolds, making his way now towards Dunlop. A bit cute angle going into that corner, but nevertheless gets out of it really well. And let's see, his first set is a few hundreds up into the second part, or second Lesmo we go. No, Degner, sorry. And now we're coming towards the hairpin.
Oh.
What's happened there,
Sorry,
Tony?
Leo's just made a massive mistake going really wide at the exit of, I don't know what corner that is, but he's had a spin.
That's Edwards P's.
Leo was about 200ths up on his lap time, but he made a mistake, went wide, and that is Leo out of contention. Or, unless he stays on pole, of course, but he cannot improve on his time.
Track evolution as well, that could kick in as well, and the drivers finding more confident as they went for the last 2 runs, knowing where the grip is and the limits are. Reservoir coming towards the final 2 corners now. Let's see what time you can set, taking that curve really nicely there, not taking too much on the second part as well at turn number 18, and now we're coming towards the line. Let's see what lap time he could do. A 26.7. 1,000 up on his previous best then, so won't take pole.
Is over as well, as he hit the grass in the S sections and got the corner a tiny bit, as he's lost about 4 tenths and he's going to be out potentially for pole.
Troy always up as a P3.
Troy is just 100th behind Nathan and Leo. That is so close in the top 3, but Nathan's on a lap now. 600th down, going into Spoon.
Have a look at Wilder's time.
He's a 10.5 up.
And it doesn't take pole. That's 5 drivers with a 26.4.
So close.
What about Jewel Beam as well? Because he's still got something left on the table. 26.5? Nope. And I think...
Nathan's backed out.
Which one?
QVR Nathan.
There he has as well.
Nathan goes P10, 3 tenths, improved in his time. This grid is so close. The top 7 separated by just under 2 tenths. Especially the top 5, less than 1 tenth. Then even the midfield pack, Peas, Chihuahua, Nathan and Reservoir, all under 1 tenth, or all under 400ths even. It is so close.
I'll be off to the toilet then as quickly as I can before the race starts, and I'll take you through the start of the race. I think about 5 drivers who joined the 26.4 club, so that's incredibly tight once again, like the Austrian Grand Prix. But we're about to see if anybody can take the second winner of this season. Walter looks on good form, his first win in 7 races. The last time he won, I actually can't remember now, I did some research before this race, but I can't really remember which one it was. But he's ended that streak of 7 consecutive races without a win, and Jerome will be hoping to do the same thing as well with 5 races. The last win he had was at the Singapore Grand Prix. 2-time champion versus the 1-time champion of CRL. Obviously the first champion of CRL was Solav in the very first season. Then I think it was Duel then Ferg. But here are the lights then. 5 lights all underway. And we are away for the Japanese Grand Prix here in Suzuka. Then let's see who gets a better start off the line. Looks like QVR Nathan's got a much better start off the line. And then Leo as we head into turn 1 side by side with the Williams and Mercedes. And here comes the Alpha Tauri up the inside, but can't capitalise on that one. We've got Jewel Beam versus Giroud, but off into the wall and out of the race goes Jewel Beam. He's out of the race already. We've got a spin of P's there. Major contact to driver. Did you see what happened there, Tony?
Not really, no. I think I might have caught it. So I'm gonna go back and watch it.
I caught it too, so I don't think Joby had enough space on the outside there.
What happened? There's a spinner as well, Alfa Romeo.
That was Pease, I believe, who spun in that first sector.
It was Pease and Joby making contact, and Joby ends his race in the wall. Let's have a virtual safety car.
Surprisingly as well. But that was quite interesting, Tony, because Nathan got a much better start, considering he has the medium hard compound tyres on comparison to Leo. So I thought Leo would have a much better start. But Nathan takes the lead then immediately, which is good for him on the hards, isn't it, Tony? I don't know, Tony's there or not.
I'm sorting my microphone out. I'm getting the echo. Yeah. What were you saying?
Nathan's got a much better start than Leo, considering he's on the hard compound tyres.
Yeah. Very, very good start by Nathan, being able to take the lead going into the apex, as he's now leading the way after the virtual safety car's now ended. Quite a decent start, getting 4 tenths, but Leo's getting slipstream and being able to stay with him.
As we head down to the first corner then with the drivers, Troye is on the soft compound tyres. Leroy's going side by side with Mollerup. It's the second corner. Mollerup's still on the outside. Leroy though has the inside line and he stays ahead. He goes up into P2 ahead of Mollerup. So great racing between those two in the first corners as well. Leroy moves himself up inside that top 10. And we've got a few drivers that are splitting their strategies with hards and mediums then. So depending on what time the safety car comes out as well, which could play a major advantage or disadvantage in your strategy then. And Troy will be hoping for early safety car being on those soft compound tyres then. Some people did this in Tier 4 going on the softs towards the mediums, but I don't know what the best strategy is. Sweet car gets very close to the braking zone, into the hairpin we go then. So looks all set up at the moment. We've got another lap till DRS is activated then. So can Leo there try and re-overtake Nathan?
You see Troy following quite closely behind on the soft tyres, which that should give it some advantages. I think Leo just had a snap. But Troy goes for the soft tyres, and he's going for a move now, going into 130R on the inside of Leo, and he does make the move before the corner, and I think he's going for another one on Nathan. It just squeezes him out a tiny bit, and Nathan does keep the corner as it is a left-hander going on there. Just keep it nicely around the outside of the second part of the chicane. That's a good move by Troy and a good nailing move on Nathan.
Yeah, Troy had to get that done.
Limits now. He'll be pushing his limits against Nathan now, hoping to take advantage of it.
Troy had to get that move done because he's on the soft compound tyres, the softest tyres of them all, the most malleable tyres, but not the long-lasting life. So that was crucial there to get past the medium runner. His next targets are the hard runner, which we expect to be much more easier, being two steps harder than the soft compound tyres. But Julian's going outside the top 10. He's had a moment coming out of Dunlop there, so he's dropped himself in P11 and gives the places towards Leroy and Mollerop there. So Julian's struggling on the early phase on the medium compound tyres there. Just probably had a snap of oversteer, but saves the car. Fortunately for him then, so he continues on his way.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at the midfield battle. The top 3 battle's been great, and the midfield battle is just getting to grips now with everyone trying to make overtakes. What happened to Nathan? CRL Nathan?
I think he pitted during the VSC, but here comes Troye then on Nathan. This time it's the inside line going into 130. He did what he did on Leo the lap ago. Now he's done it on Nathan then. So good move there from Troye. Not on the straight either, on the main straight where most DRS overtakes happen. But this is what I like about this track. You can make moves into the 130R, the hairpin.
Got DRS. I think Wouter. I don't know if Wouter hit Leo in the back or Leo rear locked, but something happened there. But I don't think Nathan's going to be able to get this move off, as he has to lift before the apex of turn 1 and 2.
And Mollerop overtakes Leroy for P9 then, so having their own scrap, as Mollerop is 1.3 seconds behind, so he does not have DRS like Leroy did on the last lap then, so that's why those two are dropping away from the top 8 in the DRS trade. Surprisingly, Sahilu has got a 3-second time penalty early doors in this race, so I'm not quite sure what happened to him or where that came from, whether he had to take a void action. He's got a 5-second time penalty as well, so that means, what does that mean? Does that mean to get a 5-second like that? I can't actually remember how you get one like that. Was it cutting corners?
5 seconds for Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Mine. I don't know how he got it. Oh, maybe it might have been a contact under the VSC, like when everyone's packed up at the very start.
Possibly, but he can't go to the end because he has to serve it in the pit lane, which he has to do a stop, so that'll hinder his race quite a lot.
Removed, so.
Depends if it wasn't his fault or not, it doesn't matter because he'll get it served in the pit lane anyway, so
yeah,
it's hindered him a lot in this race. As Jeroen then close to the back of Walter. These two have had a lot of fights in the past and some have not turned out to go well in the end either, but hopefully they keep it clean like they did in Austria as well, because they had a fight there and it was quite clean as well, so interested to watch always from those two, as once again Nathan follows Troye.
Yeah, I think obviously said Troye has pulled a tiny bit of a better gap than last lap, so he's pulling away slightly, but Nathan's got really good pace on these hards compared to Troye on the softs. He's keeping up with him very well, especially with dirty air through the S sections, especially with Leo as well, following 2 cars behind with dirty air, and you got Wouter just a bit further back trying to defend from FVR your own.
Yeah, a few split strategies at the Austria Grand Prix as well. A few hard runners and medium runners in the in that phase of the race, but I think the hard runners were the best that turned out, because the hards to mediums was the better strategy. Even with the safety car too, the hard runners had a massive advantage with the mediums at the end. So I think a few of them that started on the mediums last race probably learned from that, such as Sahilu, Isak, Kush and Jeroen there, and have gone on to the hard compound tyres for the start as well, to have that durability throughout the whole race and put the mediums towards the end of the race. Tyre wear should be good around here, especially running on the hard compound tyres too in this stage, but you can see Troye under massive pressure here. What would Nathan do, because he's got to defend and attack, so he can't afford to be in second place, otherwise Leo...
Yeah, I think here comes Leo. He's cut him off a bit, Leo has to grass a tiny bit. I think Troye is starting to struggle on them soft tyres. I don't think they're lasting as much as he would have wanted them to, because Nathan is just on the back of him.
Did Troye really want to go on the soft compound tyres? Was that his strategy? Was it by accident? I'm not quite sure, but here comes Nathan.
I don't know. I don't think it was the best option either way. But here comes Leo as well, going on the inside of all 3 of them. They're 3 wide nearly. But Nathan does take the lead, and Leo does take second place away from Troye. Troye not looking good at the moment with them soft tyres. He's lost 2 positions. It's just a straight in a corner on the softs compared to mediums or hards. The strategy just isn't working for him.
Unfortunate there for Troye, looking to do something different in this race. Whether he thought this race would be crazy, I'm not quite sure. Expected a safety car earlier on or not, but anyways, he's down in P3. Kyle, however, has been overtaken by Cross, Liam and Leroy. I think he was under pressure there. I think he actually been overtook by Julian up into P10 then in the Aston Martin, who we saw, by the way. Maybe rain might be coming, you never know. No, Nathan said it was a dry race, so there's no rain coming in. So I don't know what the situation is with Troye, because you can see he's under massive pressure now for Walter. So from this stage forwards, he'll fall backwards on those soft compound tyres.
We just saw Chihuahua nearly hit the back of Isaac going into the hairpin, very, very close to making contact, but kept it away from each other. And he still has got 5 seconds pen up to serve, obviously, so he'll be trying to push as much as possible going into the next stint of the race.
And there goes Sweet Khan on Troy, then into 130R he goes. We've seen quite a few overtakes, haven't we, in 130R? That's about 3 or 4 now you've seen. And there he moves up himself up into P3 there ahead of Troy on those degraded soft compound tyres. Unfortunately for him, when will he pit?
Also, Jamie,
Yes, mate?
a massive difference. Look at the ERS difference compared to Troy and the drivers around him. As Leo goes into first place, with help with DRS going into turn 1 and turn 2. But yeah, Troy has no ERS compared to everyone around him having over 50. Every single one of them over 50%. Even Nathan's on 85.
Incredible. Look at
At
Troy.
the moment,
I think those soft compound tyres are starting to overheat now. Unfortunately for him, he's got Isak Kush all over the back of him there, so he'll get swallowed up here on in.
back.
You don't want to make an overtake into the first Degner, and he backs out. Would he go for the second Degner? Don't have a chance there, not enough room. You can see the flashing light at the back of the car, so Isak Kush knows he's derated on the straight. When he set it on the inside, on Kobayashi style.
Is very close to making contact as he rear locks the car, but Troy is so much time to the cars in front, which is also losing Isaac, Chihuahua, Rezify a lot of time to the leading cars.
And
As I think Isaac will get the move done now.
talk about the leading cars, Tony. We've got a change of leadership again. Leo's back up into P1 where he started. He's overtaken Nathan. I think that was around the outside, by the way, the hairpin. Here comes Isa on Troye. He moves himself up into P5 now.
He overtook him on the straight when I was talking about the ERS. I said he overtook him on the straight with DRS going into turn 1, turn 2. It's quite an easy move, but Leo makes a snap. But so does Nathan. But I think that hinders them both, as Nathan will definitely get the move done again. Another switch of leaders going into turn 1. But Valtteri and Urona closing in very quickly. Nathan makes a moment.
And he sticks him on the outside despite that mistake. It still maintains the lead of this race then. So, they made contact there, slight contact there. So hopefully not any more for those drivers' sake, because they're all bunched up, and a mistake could cost hugely as well. And Culper Paradox saying, go Nathan. I don't know which Nathan you're talking about, CRL or QVR Nathan. But interestingly, Tony, I saw a driver in the pit lane, which was, where is he? Sahilo. I thought he was in the pit lane. It did say pit, but that must have been somebody else. As Crystal has made a mistake.
So. Oh, Troy was in the pits. He's pitted onto the hards.
Oh.
Troy has gone off the softs. So obviously not working out for him, as he might go hard to the end. But see, now he just needs to worry about Nathan. How far can Nathan's hards go? Then that gives Troy what's the word? Well, a target on what laps he can go, how many laps he can go.
What, he's got the 12.5 second gap behind the guys who stuck in the DRS trade in the midfield then, so that'd be quite hard. Once he closes up, hopefully those guys... These guys are all stuck in one big DRS train, that's why.
Yeah. From 16th to 12th. 11th even. And then there's another DRS train going all the way to the lead from 10th to 1st.
It's incredible how these guys can be glued to each other as well.
Especially on this track. Like, Sector 1, you'd expect so much dirty air to not allow drivers to be in a DRS train, but they are. They're doing brilliantly on the track.
They are as well, and I wonder when Leo would decide to go for a pit stop as well on those medium compound tyres. Probably about lap 13, 14 when he'll take those mediums. Then he'll switch over to the hards.
So, yeah. Then the biggest deal is the undercut. I think the undercut will be quite big, as they are in a DRS train. So they'll be slower through the corners. If you get clean air on the undercut, you're going to gain a lot of time. But it's all about how you manage your ERS, especially with these long straights. Going into turn 1, going into 130R. There's a spinner, it's Isaac.
Yeah, safety car's been deployed. I'm not quite sure why. Dual being retired in the pit lane, but on the tracks at the start of the race. But I think somebody tapped the back of Isak Kush, because I was on board with the Aston Martin. Let me have a go. Let me have a look at that, because I was definitely on board and I saw it. So safety cars came out. Probably Leo, Rezify, Mollerup, Julian, Leroy, Cross Liam, and Crystal.
Yeah.
Should have said the media runners instead of saying all their names. So let me have a look at that incident, Tony, because I was on board with it. If you want to have a look at that too. So we head into the hairpin, and I'm on board with Chihuahua as we head into the hairpin right now. And I think Chihuahua outbrakes himself. Does he? Well, that wasn't really an outbreak. He just carried a bit too much speed in the corners, and he took Isak Kush out with him. So it wasn't really outbraking himself. He just wasn't really anticipating or judging the speed correctly on the Haas there.
Yeah.
He wasn't really adapting.
It's not just the medium runners that pit, it's the hard runners as well. Isak has stayed out. So has Luke. Luke's won in track position. But Isak has stayed out after having a spin. I don't know why he hasn't boxed. Maybe the mediums are going to be very, very difficult to, especially at the end. Going through sector 1, you're going to have a lot of understeer on the mediums, a lot of rear snaps, such as the hairpin or the chicane. It's not going to be easy for the medium runners to make it to the end of the race, especially on the final few laps. But the hard runners, yeah, they're definitely going to go to the end and be better than the mediums by the end of the race. So Leo has boxed and, well, hasn't lost any positions really besides Luke and Isak, who have stayed out. But everybody has boxed. And Troye boxing early, I don't know if that's helped him or not. I don't think it has helped him with that safety car. Because he's now behind. Was he behind? He was behind Euron and Wouter, wasn't he? Before the pit?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
So he stayed in position basically after losing them positions on the soft tyre. But yeah, they are 2 laps older.
In normal circumstances though, if the safety car did come out, once those guys were going to the pit lane, Troy had a massive undercut on those guys, being in their dirty air.
Yeah.
But it's all been shut down now thanks to the safety car, and he remains where he is on a little bit older tyres. Shouldn't be too much difference, especially the hards, but definitely won't do a dividends towards the end.
5 or 6%? Between 5 and 8%.
And you can see Nathan, Sweetcrown and Jeroen on the mediums as well, so I don't think Troy will have a chance against Jeroen, Sweetcrown and Nathan on those meds, but Nathan's job then in P3 is try and negotiate those cars as quick as he can without making any contact. That's the crucial thing for Nathan. Just get past them as quickly as he can to get rid of them, dispose of them, and hopefully Leo will do the same thing as well, and the rest of them as well follow through. But they got to overtake very quickly though, because they don't want to lose that gap they had in that DRS trade. So that's crucial for those guys to try and focus on. Joe Beam's left the session, unfortunately for him. That's quite a shame for Joe Beam there. Had good pace at the Austrian Grand Prix, and unfortunately has been, I don't want to say taken out because I've not watched it yet, but there's definitely contact involved, which sent him off into the barriers and ruined his race. And this safety car, I wonder if it's been triggered by Kenny, because he was 59 seconds behind Kyle, so I wonder if he had a spin somewhere.
He's not in the race, I don't think. His car's ghosted. It was ghosted for a long time.
Yeah, that could be true.
Yeah, it's definitely AI driving, so I don't think he has cars. I think is that spinning. But I saw him in the wall. I don't know how he didn't get damaged, but also Leo's got a very difficult job to do. He has to keep Wouter, Euron and Troye behind. Troye's got pace. I don't think the sauce working out for him, but Troye does have a very good pace.
And if you notice as well, Julian's done a P16, he was in the top 10, and the reason why he's done a P16, because both Aston Martins double stats. Obviously Chihuahua had the chance to do a pit stop as well, he was entitled to, but if you remember, he had a 5-second time penalty, he's got it removed, he was stationary for 5 seconds, he's down in P11, and that also cost his teammate because they both came on the same lap, double stats. That's why they're out of position where they were supposed to be earlier on, and Chihuahua, who was on that DRS trade in the top 6, now fallen to P11 with the 5-second time penalty. Hasn't lost too much time obviously because the safety car conditions, so it might have worked out for him in the end, but if it's a normal race circumstances without safety car, he would definitely lost a lot of time in the pit lane, so safety car has helped him.
Might have been the worst possible situation for both the Aston Martins, as they were both in their separate DRS trains. Julian was at the front of his DRS train, and because of that double stack, he's lost all of his positions. The same with Chihuahua, he was up in the top 6 or top 7. He's lost his position because of the 5-second time penalty, and also has messed up his own teammate. So it's
double
not the
blow.
best safety car for the Aston Martins, but hopefully they can make a comeback and make it. Well, Chihuahua can make it into the top 7 definitely. He's got very good pace, and he'll have mediums with hard runners ahead as a safety car. In this lap, it is in this lap.
So
it's going to lead the way.
Luke retired early doors in the race in the Austrian Grand Prix. He's up into P2 now, so showed some good pace, but Let's see what he can do here with 10 lap old tyres. He'll be vulnerable and exposed with those guys on brand new tyres, so watch out. He could fall down the order very quickly or not, we'll see. But Isak Kushted will switch up the tempo very shortly as he will lead them away. Pivotal for him to get a good safety car restart. And he's gone already, so let's see how this all unfolds there. Let's see what Nathan does in P3. Will he overtake? No, he's too far back on this occasion. No matter how close he gets now, he's too far back. But he will definitely gain some speed. Look at this. Oh, Leo is so close behind Nathan there, but doesn't go for it into turn number 1 as they all remain in position except Kenny and Nathan who are switching positions. I thought Kenny was an AI, but Nathan's dropped so far back. I don't know how. But look at Nathan all over the back of Luke. Look at this, gonna go up the inside of turn number 7 and follows through. Leo comes around the outside of Dunlop as well. That's a very risky move there. As you can see, Luke is getting swallowed up. Sweet crowds through. Chivu Vizza will come through, and Luke there will be a sitting duck now as he cuts the first Degner, and Troy is right behind him too, so he has to overtake him very quickly now.
It might be the worst possible situation for Luke at the moment on old tyres against fresh tyres, especially these very quick drivers.
I saw
to go around the outside.
I saw Nathan hit the back of Isak Kush, but I don't think no damage sustained on that front wing. Very strong structure those front wings are. Sweet Crown versus Leo. Sweet Crown went down the inside into the hairpin, got him as Nathan runs out wide. Here comes Sweet Crown. He might take on Nathan as well because he went deep. No, he doesn't. Into Spoon they go.
Leo as well. That's a very, very good move by Valter to take. I don't know what the word is, but to take action against Isak on old tyres, especially in his position.
Oh no, Walter's been tied by Isak Kush, and Isak Kush is in the wall and he's out of the Grand Prix! This might trigger another safety car.
Leo has damage.
I don't know what's going on because that was a very risky move from Isak Kush. He went back out the throttle there despite getting very close with the slipstream. The slipstream was very powerful going into 130R, and now it's cost Walter. He's actually dropped a position down, so thankfully he hasn't spun out. He went off the track, but he shouldn't sustain any damage at all. But that was a very light tap which forced him into an oversteer, a snap of oversteer off the track. I don't know what Isak Kush was doing there because that was not very smart.
And I see in front, Leo hits, let me just see, yeah, so Isak's hit the back of Valter, and then obviously it slammed him backwards, and Leo's gone into the back of Isak, so I think it was Isak's lag as well. Obviously being in Singapore, it's not the best connection, so I think it was maybe a bit of desync that does hit Valter in the back, but obviously we'll see what the stewards say about that, because definitely will be reporting that. Leo has got damage from it.
I like the move. I like the move from Walter. He did a lap ago when he overtook Leo. Then he went up the inside of Isak Kush, almost took on Nathan, but unfortunately we saw that moment in 130R where I dare say Isak Kush should have been more cautious, being on all the tyres. You know what I mean? You agree?
No, he definitely should have been. He definitely should have been. Yeah, I mean, slight lift, but also he has a car behind. Maybe the connection has quite a big deal to do with that as well. So can't really say much at the moment, as we didn't see exactly what happened.
And Leo getting caught up in that too, has cost him full damage like you said, so he will drop out of this DRS trade. Surprisingly, Walter hasn't overtaken him back. You don't know if Walter's got body damage or not, so I'm not quite sure. His side pods are still intact.
Leo is out of ERS now. But Walter should be gaining quite a lot going through the S section, but he isn't.
And considering Leo's running out of ERS as well, and sustained...
No, Leo doesn't have damage.
I thought you said he did.
His end plate's come back. No, his end plate, I didn't see an end plate. His end plate was off going into chicane when I was looking. Now it's back.
Maybe it was the shadow, because... the blend in, sorry, for the front wing.
The end plate is black, to be fair. I'm just blind. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I didn't see an end plate.
I've made the same mistake before, mate. On board with the Williams driver, the end plate is black and the tyre is black as well, so I didn't really see. I think I said the same thing.
Here we go again. I think Valter might go for a move surely soon. With Leo being out of DRS, has no ERS. Valter on 60%. But it's Euron and Nathan now taking the top two. They're going to have a really good battle very, very soon once Euron gets close enough to make a move. I think Valter's going for a move now. He is going around the outside at the chicane. And he has made the move as Leo backs out of it. Maybe going for a DRS chicken. He has, but he hasn't got the ERS to get him. He hasn't got the engine power.
And I think wisely you said Leo could have backed off to allow, as Troye has been overtaken by Reservoir. It looks like Troye has fallen off as well. I don't think he's sustained any damage. I think it's just, well, the tyres are not too old for him. But what I'm thinking is Leo, with the lack of ERS, thought, you know what, I'll allow Walter through. I'll let Walter catch up to the top 3 or top 2 because of the mediums as well. I'll follow through.
ERS.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think Euron and Nathan are both out of ERS. So Wouter has got the quite big advantage here, as he is on the same lap old mediums, same tyre compound, only a second behind, and he is gaining because he has that more engine power. And one mistake is he's already in 1 second, just about. One mistake from Euron puts him in DRS. One mistake from Nathan, it puts Euron into the lead of the race. But I think Wouter will get the DRS going into the first corner, as he's just gaining and gaining, using his ERS. But Leo's backing off now.
Before the end of the race in Austrian Grand Prix, these 3 are in the exact same position, but the difference is Jeroen and Nathan don't have penalties like they did in Austria, so as long as they don't get penalties either, like, it cost them hugely, especially for Nathan, who dropped out of the podium because he picked up so many penalties. But this is a big chance that you can see Nathan deracing on the straight already, as Jeroen has saved up a little bit more but not too much, so he might get swallowed up on the straight depending if Jeroen thinks about it. Maybe he backs off. No, he does that. Yeah, he does back off. You can see him lift off the throttle there. He wants the extra ERS advantage. Well, who's that coming out of the pit lane? He gets out of the way. That is Leroy coming out of the pit lane. Monorup has gone for a move on Troy A. Where is he? Oh, there's a battle going on with Sahila as well. So he's been overtaken by 2 cars in one straight, and he moves himself up, well, down into P8.
Alfa Romeo, it's P's. I saw it in the background on broadcast mode, and there's a little spin on the exit of turn 2. I don't know if there's contact or not, but he has hit the wall slightly with his rail wing, but I don't think any damage. So just not the best race for P's right now. He's had 2 spins. Obviously the safety car brought him back in. But also the top 3. Eurona's now saved up to where Wouter's ERS is. Wouter's used about 30% in the last lap and a half. Tri-catcher was doing very well. He's brought Leo back into the top 4 fight, where he can... I think Leo's got the advantage here. Leo has a massive advantage being on the hard tyres and being so close. So going towards the end of the race, the mediums won't be very good. Especially boxing on lap 10?
Yes.
So 17 laps on the mediums, they're not going to be great.
It's doable, but they'll be on the edge, and I think Leo's tyres will be much better at the end. So like you said, he has that advantage. So keep an eye on Leo. He was the pole sitter in qualifying, and it looks like he might be swinging his way. The pendulum might be swinging his way late on in the race.
And
he keeps in this DRS train.
As well behind 4 cars, as Nathan isn't able to save the ERS, but Wouter and Euron are. As Wouter's on 30, Euron's on around 30. Euron's done very good ERS save. I think Wouter's going for a move here on Euron using all of his ERS. He is. I think Euron's going for a move on Nathan now. And there goes Wouter across Nathan, going side by side, going to turn 1 and turn 2. Leaving the room for each other. It's great racing, and I think Wouter will get the move done. He does. It's a great move from Wouter. And a very, very important move for Euron as well. As if Euron didn't go for that, Wouter's going for him.
I was about to talk about that because I think Sweet Crown forced Jeroen into uncomfortable territory, put him at the front, because Jeroen had no choice whether to go. Well, he didn't want to. He knew if he didn't go for the move.
He had to go for the move.
Exactly. If he didn't go for the move, Sweet Cloud would have got him, put him down to P3, worse than the DRS train. So I think Sweet Cloud's in a good position here in P2. Unless Nathan does what Sweet Cloud did on Jeroen, these 3 might be constantly switching positions. So it's all about who's at the front of the train and towards the last lap of the race, because that could cost you hugely.
You don't want to be at the front right now.
Any track you don't, except Monaco.
As Nathan has a bit of a moment, Leo's gone straight nearly to the back of him. Well, I think it's now Nathan's turn to regain some ERS for himself, as Leo has done very nicely to go back to 25%, as he won't go for a move. But no, Nathan uses again his ERS to try to catch up to Wouter and Euron, who pulled a little bit of a gap because Nathan made a mistake. I think here we go again. I think Wouter might go for a move on Euron. Depending who gets the better exit. Euron might force a move for Wouter to go for. As Euron is now on 30% ERS. Nobody's using it at the moment, but I don't think Wouter's going for a move. It's a smart option.
And Sahilu's gone for it on Moller up into P1, into P60, goes into turn number 1. But yeah, this is all tactical racing I've been seeing with the help DRS and back it off, and you really backed off there. Look at that, top 5 now, all close together, all under a second of each other, the top 5 in the first sector. Resify, I need to mention him as well because he's doing a fantastic job into P5 as well. Where did he start? P11.
He's right there with them. So Reserfire's got a very good chance of getting onto the podium here if the mediums die off quite quickly. Chihuahua's gone back up to the top 7 or top 6 from 11th, but the position changes are impressive.
Reserfire! Oh, Nathan's been tapped by. And look at Reserfire around the outside with much better traction. That was a lovely move from Reserfire.
Leo's dropping down now. Now Reserfire's in the prime position for the hard runners.
Reserfire, could we see a new race winner here in Cone with Reserfire? Because Nathan, Sweet Crown, and Ruin, I think, have all won a Grand Prix.
I'd love for Reserfire to win.
Me too. Even if he's an NLR, I'd still love to see an underdog win.
So we see, again, Evans and Liam make up 10 positions. They're coming from 19th and 18th. They're in the top 10 now. I think they're on the mediums and hards, so Liam's in a good position, I'd say. Leo's still there. And so is Chihuahua. Chihuahua might go for a move on Leo very soon as he's on the mediums. Mediums won't die off just yet, but I reckon as we get to lap maybe 22, 23, that's when the hard runners are going to go. But Valter went for a move on your own, and has got the move done on lap 19 now. Nathan's just behind, still not saving the ERS, he's using it all. Nathan's fully going for it with all his ERSs. Reserfire's also on 14%. But Euron and Valter are doing a great job of saving that ERS for the end of the race. It's very good to see.
The more these guys keep backing off, the more people will join as well. Posh Evans in P8, not in the DRS of anybody. He's currently...
is there now as well.
Yeah, Mollerup's done a good job in the AlphaTauri too. After, where is Troy? Down is P10, so he's not had a great race after that safety car.
All the tyres, like 2-lap pressure tyres on this game is actually a more big of a difference than anyone thinks.
In real life, not so much.
Yeah, obviously. I think that's the lapped car of Kenny is AI. Getting lapped now. I think Leroy did retire in the pits, correct?
Yes, he did, mate.
It's unfortunate for Leroy. I think he got lapped coming out of the pits, so that's very unfortunate.
Yeah, Tony, like you said, Nathan's using a lot of EOS, even this part of the track when he's low, so...
He's on 0%.
You would have thought, being in 3rd place, you would have saved some EOS later on in the race as well, you know what I'm saying? In the penultimate corner, he took a lot of curb.
Well.
Yeah, I was about to say that, but...
I want to see the penalty situations here.
He picked up a lot of penalties in Austria. He can't afford to do the same thing. As you can see, June there behind Wildty won't go for it. Obviously, you can see him lifting off massively to recharge some of that lost battery he had earlier on in the race as well. So they've all pushed each other into uncomfortable territory, waiting for like lap 26. That's when it'll get spicy. Keep tuning everybody for lap 25, 6, and 7. That could all get spicy towards the end of the Grand Prix as well. Once these guys will fully push and drain the battery in defensive mode or attack mode, but Yeroon's in the prime position here. I don't think he knows that Nathan's low on EOS, but he's definitely keeping an eye on him just in case.
He's on 60. He's doing very nicely. Yeah, so Nathan did pick up a warning on that corner cut. He's only got 1. Yeroon's only got the 1 as well. Valter's on 0, so he's doing very nice to keep it on track. I don't know about the others, but I checked the top 3, and I don't think there will be any penalty situations that are going to switch around positions at the moment, unless they get very aggressive and just try to go for anything. But Ollie, Reserfire, is in a very, very good position, as I think the mediums are going to start to drop off very, very soon.
You can see Sahila all over the back of Leo then, so you can see he's got some more extra grip. He's got Moller right behind as well. We've got Alpha May with Spud. That might be Luke, unfortunately for him. Tony, I can't wait to see what happens in the last few laps of this race. It's going to get very spicy and intense, probably a bit messy as well in the final few laps of these races. All top tier drivers just giving it all their best. But hopefully they keep it clean. Fair but hard, hopefully.
Nathan said a tiny bit more ERS on this lap, only 15% now, but still not going to be enough to even defend or even go for a move on your own or Valter. Even if he gets close enough, he can't go for a move with that low ERS.
He's got to save up, because if he comes like first in the DRS tree, he'd be vulnerable throughout the whole race, well, towards the end of it. So you would have thought being in P3 and P4, he's got to save that ERS management, ready to attack later on, otherwise he won't have that opportunity towards the end of the race then. So he's going to use this time now before too late to try and save some ERS, like Yeroon has, 65%, healthy amount. Walter, 50% despite being first in this trade. So Walter EMS management is really great as well, so I don't think Yeroon knows that, but he's definitely got more at his disposal. But Sweet Cloud, if he keeps doing this and has good EMS management, he can use it in a defense mode once it comes to the last few laps of this race. So let's see how they all play it out.
Yeah, I think it's quite obvious you're only going to save ERS as he is in second with DRS behind, obviously not using much, but Valtter's been really impressive so far on 50%. Obviously, he's not using and he's still staying ahead of Euron, so it's really good pace from Valtter. See if he can get 2 wins in a row, but at the moment, it looks like it's going to be Euron's, unless something drastic happens. Well, maybe Valtter can defend from him, we're going to find out, aren't we?
I've seen Sahilu threatening a move on Leo. He tried it on the last lap, but wasn't close enough into turn number 1. Meanwhile, Crossdeer did overtake Posh Evans. Posh Evans is right at the back of him once again, as those two have their separate scrap for P8, currently outside the DRS trade, as Mono is the last one. Here comes, nope, he doesn't go for it.
He's gonna lift.
And look at Sahilu there, up the inside of the Williams. Oh, Leo has the outside line, goes off the track though, slides in the process. And now Sahilu's up into P5 on those medium compound tyres too, so good move there. Forcing up the inside he had to in this DRS train. Obviously, if you're in these positions in the DRS train, you've got to try something.
Yeah, it's a good move from Chihuahua, but I do not know if it was contact with another spin. I think it is a Ferrari. Valtter's teammate Crystal had a spin going on turn 2. He's dropped down to 15th place. I don't know where he was before, but
13th.
yeah.
It goes the hairpin. Kamui Kobayashi, his favourite overtaking place. He did many overtakes here in 2012 as he claimed a podium that year. He won his only podium in Japan. I think it was Saba's 4th podium of the season as well. They had a great season in 2012. Here in 2023, Sweet Khan leads 2-time champion versus 1-time champion of Yeroon. These two have the most championships. Well, tied with Duwall is Sweet Khan, as Duwall is a 2-time champion in CRL. And Nathan right to the back of Yeroon. It was 110, but it's going up now as Yeroon starts to apply that ERS. He knows he has to defend and attack if he can do so. But his head is the final 2 corners.
He has so much to spare. He's still 10% above a Valtter. Valtter's saving very nicely. He's not losing, and he's in first place. He's not losing any ERS. He's gaining, and gaining so much compared to everyone else. I think Nathan's forcing Euron to go for a move.
He is, and he's overtaken Sweet Crown as well, as they're both headed to turn 1 and turn number 2. Would have been contact? It's so close, there is contact, but not too much there. And Sweet Crown and Nathan are side by side, heading into turn number 3 we go. And we're going to switch positions now with lines. Look at this. Sweet Crown has the outside line and just has the edge on Nathan there. I thought Nathan would have him, but Sweet Crown,
yeah.
Incredible there, like you said. I thought Sweet Crown would lose that to Nathan, but Sweet Crown kept it around the outside, kept his foot planted. And look at Nathan there, forcing Sweet Crown into it. Oh, he forced Shavoon, who goes off the track in the first Degner. Hopefully he can keep it intact to the second Degner, which he does do. Doesn't go off the track, because if you lose at the first Degner, you might possibly lose at the second Degner as well, carrying so much speed but in the first one. But thankfully he kept it on the track. Might have picked up a warning going out of track limits there, so that might cost him later on if he picks one or two more up. But as you can see there, on the last lap, Nathan forced Yeroon into uncomfortable territory.
Yeah,
he had to overtake Sweet Khan.
You said it before. Euron, I don't know who did it before, but Nathan used the tactic before forcing Euron into a move on Valtter, and then going for a move on Valtter himself, but didn't get it done, unfortunately.
And they're all so close, barely 5/10 separated. Look at this, you could cover a blanket all of them. They're just so close with each other. Nathan and Sweet Crown going side by side as we head into the final 2 corners we go. This is getting very intense. We might see possibly a crash.
One incident here, Rezify's into second, or even in first place, depending who gets caught up in it. He just needs to get not caught up in it himself, but Rezify's in prime position here for the mediums to just run off, and them to maybe even go for an incident. Because it's clear. Oh my! It's very, very clean racing, but it's aggressive racing. So much room for error.
Exactly. One little slip up in this train, he could fall down as P7 there. But the guys being so close in this DRS train, I thought Rezify would tap the back of Nathan, but thankfully kept the car in control not to do so on that occasion. He was so close. Not an overtaking opportunity because the door was firmly shut. Lap 24, 27.
Time into the pits.
Yeah, no safety car.
There won't be a safety car.
Look at Nathan, it's all over the back of Sweet Car. Will he go for it into the hairpin we go? Will he be late to the brakes? No, he doesn't. He backs out of that one, probably trying to...
the inside's still there.
He is indeed, and
better exit.
Sweet Car covers him for the time being. But Nathan using ERS in these parts of the track, though. He hasn't really been managing his ERS, though. That could cost him towards the end of the Grand Prix when he realises Sweet Car and Yeroon has a lot of energy in spare to use later on. So Nathan... Yeah, he has as well. 86%.
85%, man. It's impressive.
I love the skill.
Like, compared to Nathan to Euron, it's literally complete opposites. Euron saving everything, Nathan using everything. But the difference is someone's in first and one of them's in third, and I don't think Nathan's in the best position at yellow flag.
So
It's just Crystal's AI.
Chihuahua had tried to go down the inside on Reservoir, but didn't quite make it as Reservoir had the inside line for the next corner though. But look at Sweet Crown, takes the lead of the race once again on lap 25 out of 27. And here we go with Reservoir versus Chihuahua. Reservoir stays in P4 for the time being, defending from the medium runners. The medium runners still good tyre despite 15 lap hole, bearing in mind we had the safety car as well, which could help just a little bit. Reservoir's tyres should be better out of the lot, but he's got lower ERS as well, so this could get all intense at the very last laps of this race then. The top three fighting very cleanly, very fairly. And look at Nathan's got the run on Jeroen, but he went on the grass at the exit of Dunlop, so he had to back out of that one. But he had a very good, looks like he's carrying a lot of downforce on that Mercedes.
But the issue's going to be here. I know it's going to straight. There is so much of marbles going on their tyres. Going into turn one, it's going to be difficult to maybe not even understeer into someone if you're going side by side. I watched Reservoir in Sahulu, and there were so many marbles.
I don't want to jinx it, but I want to say what a fight it's all been. Very clean, very hard and fair. The side-by-side action has been incredible throughout the whole race. I'm very impressed with these guys, the top-tier boys as well, as you expect. And Posh Evans there is a P8. He was 2.2 seconds behind Leo, and now he's in the DRS of him. And there's a DRS trade from P1 to P11. These guys behind have caught up. And here comes Jeroen then on Walter. He backs out of it. He knows DRS is coming. The last 2 laps of this race. He might want to wait for the last lap of the race, you know. Try and force Walter to Nevin by allowing him, letting him know he's there. Making him large his mirrors, trying to force him to mistake into a braking zone. But I think Walter's too clever for that.
No, they're both using. He goes for the move. But this is the smartest option for Jeroen, because he can defend. If he gains a bit more time going into the last lap, he needs to push. Push very, very hard. Because if he defends on that final DRS straight, he's won the race. Unless he makes a mistake in Spoon and Wouter gets running and going into 130 RR, but that is the only option when Jeroen loses this race.
Talk about mistakes, Sahiru's just made one trying to defend from Reservoir. He went off the track, he's down to P6 now. Moller up, it's up into P5 on the hard compound tyres. He came out of nowhere, did Moller up.
Good drive.
Indeed it is, mate.
From 12th place. Oh, he got 3 seconds, we jinxed it.
I'm so sorry, Moller up, forgive me. What's going to happen down in the hairpin then? And Walter has the inside line covered, he doesn't want to give way to Nathan whatsoever. That's a Mercedes of Cross Liam.
He's had a little spin going around P12. Literally all the cars are here, besides the ones that are not.
Mate, only person to get a penalty in this race is Moller. That's 3 second time penalty just cost him. So with these guys being so close and these guys backing each other up, Moller might find himself at the top 10 depending where the rest are. Yuli's got a 3 second time penalty now as well. Second drivers get one on those 16 up on hard tyres. 5 seconds away as Leo makes overtake on Sahilu, but I want to see the guys at the front there. Leo's making his way backwards. He lost a lot of pace.
Now. This is everything.
Crucial moment.
Going to get a better exit. Wouter went into the corner way too deep, and Jeroen got a really good exit. 4 tenths. Using absolutely everything. Jeroen's going on to the right hand side, off the line, picked up all the marbles. So is Wouter following. Wouter's not going to be close enough. It's all on 130 RR, or if somebody makes a mistake. As Nathan's fallen off a bit, Redify's going to try attack, but no ERS whatsoever.
Jeroen Vizer's got a few more jobs left to do here in this last sector. He's got to defend like crazy, use all the ERS he's stored up as well. He's run out of fuel for good measure as well. Running low on fuel is Jeroen Vizer. He's got to push but try and manage that fuel as well. So let's see how it all pans out. He underfueled the car despite being a safety car coming out too. So he really did underfuel that car, did Jeroen Vizer. But Sweet Khan used the ERS here to get a good exit out of here. He needs a good exit cut out the hairpin and then try and get the run into Spoon, but I don't think he'll do it there.
ERS as well.
He has to wait for 130 yard as well, so that's his best possible chance. And Jeroen Vizer needs to keep it nice and clean now, no mistakes here from the one-time world champion here in CRL as he makes his way now into Spoon. Crucial corners, critical corners for Jeroen Vizer to get it right, because if you get it wrong, here's a straight coming up and this will allow Wouter to pull even closer, so he gets a decent exit coming out of Spoon then, and he's obliterating all that ERS. I don't think Wouter has any chance, you know, unless he sends it down in the final corner. He's gaining, but is it going to be enough though to try and take the lead off Jeroen Vizer as we make our way now into the final 2 corners we go.
There's a Reservoir as well.
He's almost overtaken Nathan, but Nathan has the inside line. But here comes Giroud then, as he makes his way towards the line. It's going to be a win from the Dutchman in P1 ahead of Sweetcar. Nathan finishes in P3, just ahead of Reservoir in P4, Leo in P5, Sahila in P6, Moller ahead of his teammate Troy H, only just though by 100. Posh Evans P9, and Julian decided to retire on the final corner there, which cost him pure points. So not a smart idea there for Aston Martin.
No, it wasn't. He's completed more than 90% of the race. You get points.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I mean, like, he will fall down to P15, won't he? Or 16?
No, I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know how it works. But wow, what a race!
It'll be classified, but well, Pease takes the fastest lap of the race.
Takes it off of Wouter. I think Wouter had the fastest lap before that. That's a point off of Wouter's championship.
I think Jeroen Visser could be ahead of Sweet Crown, because I don't believe Sweet Crown took the win. Took the fastest lap in Austria. It was somebody else. I think it was somebody else, because somebody pitted on a soft compound tyre and took the fastest lap. So,
did Jeroen come P2 last race?
Yes.
Yeah? So they'll be on the same points then.
But Jeroen took the fastest lap.
Oh yeah, he'll be ahead by 1 point then.
No, sorry. We just saw somebody take the fastest lap. They'll be on the same points, won't they?
If Jeroen got fastest lap last week,
he didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. That was somebody else.
Okay, then yeah. Then they're on the same points.
Wow, championship out. It's early stages in CRL. We've only got 13 races by the way, so every single point counts, and the top two will be drawing in the championship. One-time champion versus two-time champion, Sweet Crown, and Nathan. What a drive from Nathan to defend from Reservoir, who's all over the back of him. Reservoir from P11 to P4, and Leo from P1 to P5. Never had any pace, did he, after the second safety car restart? So I think he did get damaged, but I think it was moderate. But Sahila in P6, he made a mistake without the first corner, went wide. Moller up in P7, despite that 3-second time penalty. Troy finishes in P8 on the Soccer power tyres, long shot, I should say. Posh Evans gains 9 places. Kyle from P16 to P10. Cross Dean from P19 to P11, Nathan P12, P13, Luke P14, Julian, Kenny, Crystal, Leroy, Isa Kush, and Joe Beam, the first man to retire at this race, unfortunately in the first lap. But bearing in mind though, the man who made contact with him was Jeroen, so there could be post-race penalties depending if Joe Beam decides to report it. Maybe a class as a first lap incident.
I think Pease will get a reporting, and we'll see what happened then. But other than that, it was a brilliant race. Clean.
Tier 1 boys showing us why they're Tier 1. It's like they behaved as well from last season, because there was a lot of contact between Jeroen and Wilder last season, but they kept it nice and clean, and good respect from both of them too, to give each other room and not push each other off the trap. So that was incredible from those two, or three actually, all of them in the DRS train, because it was so easy to make a mistake and take somebody out. So here's Nathan in the party. We're just waiting for Wilder and Jeroen Visser, then we can get started. Do you know what I said before this race to Jeroen? Jeroen said to me, "I'll see you in the party." That's what he said. And here, I think you'll be joining. Wilder at Jeroen. Jeroen's here. We're just waiting for you, Wilder.
Jeroen's here now. Just waiting on Wouter.
Well, he's here. We'll start P3 upwards then. So, hello Nathan, mate, you there?
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing better than last week.
By the way, before I start with you, I want to say to all three of you, that was fantastic racing there. Gave each other plenty of respective room as well. Didn't push each other off the track, so I want to respect and say thank you to all of you for keeping it clean out there. Well, we'll start with Nathan then. So, Nathan, talk us through your race, mate. And start on the hardcore powered tyres. Safety car came out, and you were in that massive DRS trade fight for like the whole race then. So, what was going through your mind in that DRS fight there?
I mean everything was kind of going up okay until about like lap 15, and then obviously Jeroen and Walter went past at the same time, and at that point I was like, yeah, this race is pretty much over, because Japan is one of those where A, your engine overheats to ridiculous temperatures, and B, if you're the third car at Japan, there's no way you're getting through basically. Like you have to hope that one of the other two cars make a mistake. So yeah, it was kind of a case of recharge as much CRS through like 3-4 laps, try and push one of them to overtake the other. And obviously me and Walter went side by side, I think it was like 3 or 4 times, but turn 1 is tricky to overtake anyway, and then in the hairpin I was just getting tapped by Resify constantly, so yeah, was not a fun 12 laps, but hey, end of the day it's P3 and finally good points on the table.
I know you had quite a few penalties in the last race in Austria, so nice of you to get a podium here in Japan to make amends after that. But I want to talk about that moment going into turn 1 because you forced Jeroen to overtake Walter, then you tried to get Walter yourself. Did you think you could get him into turn number 1 because you weren't side by side with him, but you just lost that battle towards Walter then? So when you overtook well, when you almost overtook Walter, was you hoping that you stay the DRS of Jeroen and try and save some ERS that way?
Well, obviously, like because obviously Cody's have added marbles into the game this game, which is just an absolutely fantastic feature. And yeah, if you get marbles in this game, like you're just basically going nowhere. So obviously had to force one of them into overtaking, and then obviously we're side by side with Walter, but because I was on the dirty side of the track, it was a case of I have to hope that through turn 1 Walter has a little mistake, but obviously he didn't. So yeah, I mean obviously I got through, then I would have just sat behind Jeroen and then like saved at least 30 to 40% ERS, but I think both of them had enough saved anyway to fought off like any challenge.
Yeah, Jeroen and Wouter managed to save 70% each, and Jeroen even managed to get to 90 at one point. Then we also noticed you was always around the under 10% or getting to 15. Was you just trying to push and go for an overtake with the battery?
Yeah, you either have 3 options this game. You can either not use anything and save 70-80%, use everything and use it everywhere, and basically stay derated in the entire race. Or you can kind of save and then use everything, save and use everything, which like I just try to do that, but at the same time it's like Japan, because of the high wings, you just can't save anything, and it's the same with fuel. Like you use so much fuel here as well. So yeah, there was not really, and obviously with like the hard runners whose tires was obviously going to get better in the last 5 laps, you kind of, it's a double-edged sword. You either try and save enough ERS or you get attacked by hard runners. So yeah, I think as soon as they both went past, that was kind of race over.
Yeah, we noticed that. I expected the mediums to drop off a lot more than they did. What do you know you were at the end of the race?
I was on 67%. I also know that I was using way too low tire pressures because my temperatures was way too cold. So yeah, that wasn't amazing, but yeah, that day it was like 67, 68% across the line.
Yeah, because all the top 3 they box on the same lap, same tire compounds and everything. But I was expecting Ollie to take advantage quite a bit more than he did. I know it was very close, but it is a massive DRS train. We went from 1st to 11th.
Yeah.
We've got to watch everything. But Jeroen and Wouter, they just saved up so much ERS, I don't think you would have been able to do anything.
No, when like especially because like every 2 to 3 laps they'd switch over, so they could kind of like one go ahead, and then the one behind save, and then the other one go ahead like with DRS, they say 3 laps later, and it's almost like you're working as a team in separate teams, but then at the end you're always going to split off. So yeah, it's just when you're kind of in that no man's land between two people who are kind of working together, and then you've got hard runners behind you who are just waiting their time. Yeah, you're just basically stuck.
And yeah, Nathan, I think you answered my question with, well, Tony's question with the low wings, because I noticed you were getting quite a lot in the corners as well, so that could have had a factor why you were losing so much EOS as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the wins are pretty similar for everyone. Like this game, you can't. There's some tracks where you can use lower wings, but there's a lot of tracks where if you use low wings, you're either gonna put yourself out of position in qualifying, or you're just not gonna have enough race pace to kind of stay in the DRS train, regardless of your straight line speed. So yeah, you just kind of got to deal with what you kind of have this game.
So I think that's what happened with Leo then. Got pole in qualifying, dropped a bit in the race, maybe due to higher wings than everyone else.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, he wasn't. I mean, from my POV, I don't know if it was on stream, but from my POV, he was red X basically every 5 seconds.
Yeah,
So,
we saw the collision
yeah.
between Izzat him and Wouter, where Izzat went off.
Honestly,
into the wall.
it was impossible to follow him the entire race. So I didn't really know what was going on. I just wanted to stay ahead of him because I didn't want to be looking at a red X car for basically 99% of the race. But yeah, no, he either had 2 lower wings or 2 higher wings, because if you go the other way, then yeah, you can still kind of mess up your race pace.
So I'm guessing that was the aim off the line. He's got a pretty good start compared to him. He was on mediums using hards. He got a really good start going into turn 1 off the line.
Yeah, starts is kind of like something that, well, I've always been good at starts, but this game I've kind of dialed in perfectly. So it's just kind of, I think the only things I kind of got to work on now is kind of ERS management and just trying to sort what situations to use and not use. So yeah.
Congrats to P3, mate. You did a really great job regardless as well, and scoring your first podium of the season. And also a great defending from the guys behind, because you're under massive pressure from the medium runners towards the end. The gap was like 800, so congratulations for holding them off.
Thank you.
Moving on to P2 then. Sweet Khan, hello mate, you alright?
Yeah, sort of.
So we saw that massive DRS train fight. I want to talk about lap 12, because we saw that collision between you and Isaac Kush. So what exactly happened? Was it lag, or did he actually
No, not really. I was closing up to Nathan a lot because the slipstream through 130 was just like so strong, and I didn't want to go side by side with Nathan because I don't know. At that point, I was just like trying to sit still and just be calm, just keep it clean, and then I lifted a little bit, and I know Izzat lifted behind me a little bit, and I think the guy behind him or something like that just hit Izzat, and then Izzat hit me, and I lost control of the car and managed to save it, but Izzat just ended up in the wall.
When he hit the back of you,
Yeah.
did you thought you were going to go into the wall?
I don't know how I saved it. I need to look back at it, but
I have the
yeah,
onboard of Leo.
It was very.
I was on board with Leo
very
then.
dodgy.
So what I see is that I think it's connection with Izzat. Obviously, he's from Singapore and he's got like 200 ping. But you closing up to Nathan, you lift off a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Izzat and Leo make a tiny bit of contact going into 130 RR, because it looks like Izzat jolts back a bit, and then obviously Izzat I think makes a little bit of contact with you. I don't know, might have been desync. And I thought Leo got damage.
Yeah, I just know Izzat. I know Izzat lifted a little bit just to like avoid me lifting as well. I don't know. I just don't know what happened at the back of Izzat.
Talk about those great moves as well, Barty. You made some great moves around the outside as well. I think, was it the safety car restart where you got Leo, then you almost got Nathan as well. I think you got him around the outside into the hairpin, then you almost got Nathan going into Spoon as well. Talk us through that, because that was very crucial for your race as well.
Yeah, of course the people who stayed out were a lot like slower. I think it was it around that point?
It was Luke and Izzat. Yeah.
Yeah, Luke and Issa stayed out, and they caused a little bit of a mess, and then I had a good run on Leo. I saw him. I think he skateboarded over the Degna too, so he lost it. And then I just put my car on the inside a little bit. Was it around? And I think I did a switchback on him and then got the run into Spoon. And I saw Nathan and Izzat side by side, so I was like, and Nathan went wide a little bit, I think. So I just put my nose there and just just show myself a little bit, so he has a worse run for the next straight.
Ah, fair enough, mate. And we saw after the safety car restart, you, Nathan, and Jeroen all in that tense battle. What was the game plan for you? Was it try and stick behind? Bearing in mind that you had Nathan coming up the rear as well, so you all forced each other into uncomfortable territory. Was the whole plan just to stay behind one another and try and save up the US later on for the last few laps of the race?
I was kind of hoping I could get Jeroen at the end. That's why I started saving a lot, but I also had to watch out from Nathan pushing up to me from behind. And yeah, I just had to watch out from both sides. It was just a bit of chaos. You had to think about Jeroen and then Nathan as well behind. And every straight, you get such an awkward position because you wanna live, but then the guy behind catches up so much.
Yes.
So we're always in a difficult position going into like the last corner or the first corner. So it was a bit what's it called?
Nip and tuck.
It was a bit dodgy. A bit difficult to control all of that, but we had some nice battles with Nathan through the SS. That was really, was really good. And unfortunately, couldn't get Jeroen. I think my tires started dying off a bit too much because I saw the exit of Jeroen. It was just a little better than mine every single corner. But yeah, for the rest, P2 is still good.
US management was quite efficient as well in that race, which allowed you to pull away from Nathan and try and get Jeroen, but also Jeroen's US management was quite good as well. So, what do you think your improvements are for this race? Like, what do you think you could improved on?
I don't think I could have done a lot more, but it's just unfortunate the safety car came out at a certain point. Because my plan was to stay out a lot longer than all of the guys next to me.
Like you did in Austria.
Use those tires for the end. Because I think that's especially around a track like Japan with in Austria you didn't see the gainage that much with the fresh tires, but around here I think you gain so much by just staying out an extra 1 or 2 laps. But with the safety car on that timing, it was just a bit it ruined a bit the strategy a little bit.
Yeah, because all of you went to the pits at the same time, so that's why you didn't get the advantage that you wanted. So eventually you were on the same strategy.
Mhm. Yeah.
And Tony, you got any questions for Walter?
I don't really know, to be honest. It looked like a clean race, like with the strategic moves of forcing another driver going into a move and then overtaking that same driver. What was it? 3 times the guy in first lost both positions and dropped down to third. Was that something you planned?
Well, before I overtook Nathan, I saw Jeroen holding up a little bit, saving EOS or fuel savage a little bit. I don't know what was going on there, but I made sure to stay close enough to Jeroen, so I could maybe try and do that double overtake, and it worked out. And then from there, I just kept my second position, or sometimes switch with Jeroen if I had so much more speed through the first.
Yeah, I'm guessing you was hoping for you and Jeroen to work together to create the gap possibly to Nathan, and then you guys fight it out on the last 2 laps.
Yeah, or when I overtake Jeroen, it's just I hope he and Nathan fight a little bit.
Yeah.
That was my biggest worry, just fighting too much with Nathan and losing out to Jeroen.
Yeah, that almost happened with the when you and Nathan went side by side through sector 1. I know Nathan had to cut the grass, trying to keep the position, but it was brilliant racing.
Yes, it was indeed, and congrats to all. Like I said from the beginning of the party, you did a fantastic job keeping it clean and on the track as well. Those moves were brilliant, Walter, watching you on board as well, so keep that up. And yeah, I think you and Jeroen are tied for the championship points as well, that battle. I know it's early in the season, but we've only got 13 races this season, so every point matters. How are you feeling for the championship, Walter?
Should be pretty good. I know Nathan will be up there more, Jeroen will be up there, and I think Peter had 2 bad races now in a row, which he'll be up there again.
I forgot to ask Nathan a question.
I'll
ask you, Walter.
I know for sure. I know I'm still leading because you got that penalty last week. So
But you finished in
he's
P2,
still
didn't you?
good.
Didn't you even finish in P2 last week, Walter?
No, I think he got a penalty, so Izzat was P2.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he got 5 seconds.
Oh.
So we were wrong. They're not tied.
Bullshit stewards, man.
Hey, I'm one of the stewards.
I'm not, so you can't blame me.
Alright, Walter, final question. Opinions on next week's race, Melbourne?
Oh. Bad track, but the race should be fine.
What have you got? You confident for it? Good pace?
In the race, yes, quali needs some work, but it should be. My race pace should be fine there.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see your plus 20 hours by next week.
Whoa, that's not me.
Thank you for your time, Walter. It's been a pleasure to talk to you again for the second time in a row. And yeah, you finished your streak. I was looking back at the last season's results as well. You went 7 races without a win, and you come back strong instantly in the first race as well. So you're looking on good form, scored another podium, leading the championship. So good luck to you, mate, on the rest of your season. And once again, congratulations for P2, doing an astounding job in that DRS battle, tactical as well, keeping it clean, nice respectful there too. So respect to you, mate,
Yeah,
and
thanks. I'll see you next week.
see you next week. And you, Visa, hello, mate. I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
No worries.
Do you remember what you said to me when I joined the party before the race?
Yeah, I said I'll speak to you in the podium party.
And here we are now, about 2 hours later, almost 2 hours later.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So yeah, Jeroen, where did you start? Was it P4? You had a difficult qualifying, didn't you? In the I think,
yeah.
or P5. You had a difficult qualifying because I remember in was it Spoon where you had a difficult exit and you compromised your run all the way down the straight. So qualifying didn't really go well for you, but you made it up in the race as well. So where was your stronger points in the race in comparison to qualifying?
In the race, I don't think there was any struggle, but on the qualifying, yeah, I just put a really good banker. It was the time I ended with, and then, yeah, I don't know, I'm just retarded. I can't put the other 2 laps like together. On the last run I was up by a lot in sector 1, and then yeah, I bottled also, so I really need to work on getting the last 2 runs in. But yeah, in the race I think it was very strong. Good pace, good management, yeah.
You were running 5th and 6th most of the DRS trade before lap 12, because lap 12 is when Isa and Walter hit the back of it, well, hit each other and had that incident at turn number 15 at 130R. So you catapulted from 5th to 2nd. So do you think that was the most pivotal moment of your race, of going up to P2 in that moment and knowing you could try and have a chance for a win?
Yeah, 100%, of course. But I almost lost my wing there because. Yeah, I was coming up with a lot of speed, like in a quadruple slipstream, I think. And yeah, for me it was more like a brake check. Like they slowed down so much when I think they only lifted, but I had to go on the brakes to not hit my front wing. And then yeah, I just saw 3 or 4 people fly to the right to the barrier. So yeah, I just got through. I managed to stay with Nathan. That was important.
Yeah,
Was it-
dangerous in a train, especially going into 130R.
It was important because that
It was so close.
it was all tactical games, wasn't it? Mind games as well, Jeroen, because you're all stuck in that DRS fight. You're trying to force each other to go to the lead and try and generate that loss of ERS. But I think you took the lead off Walter lap 25, was it, Jeroen? 26?
Yeah, 25.
So you had the confidence to have used that ERS all the way to the end. Were you ever nervous about Walter catching you up all the way to the end?
Well, at first yes, because I know he's quick, and I knew he had the ERS because he's been saving a lot as well. But yeah, on lap 26, I think after Spoon, I already saw that he wasn't like as close to be like in the slipstream or with attacking distance. And then into turn 1 on the last lap, like going into the last lap, he yeah, I could stop using quite early, so I saved like 40 or 50% for the end straight. So at that point it was just using my ERS and winning the race.
How draining was this race, mate? Because you were fighting throughout the whole of it, so you must be very tired because a lot of concentration points. This one slip up could put you all the way down in P11. That's how close the DRS train was. So I bet you're very tired after that one, weren't you?
Well, not really. I'm normally more tired after if I have like an incident or something. But yeah, I just had a lot of fun actually. Anyways, I enjoyed
You,
it a lot, and it's yeah, a lovely track. So.
were you ever nervous about making the mistakes as well, being that high pressure DRS fight?
No, because I was just lifting and coasting. My fuel was if I stayed in front all the time, I wouldn't have made it on fuel. So I had to have Wout in front of me, and I was lifting and coasting everywhere.
You
Just to
noticed
keep
you were
the
flashing
fuel.
at the end. We thought you were gonna run out of fuel.
No, I was good on fuel. I think I had 0.2. I think at the end of the race.
Fine
But,
margins.
yeah, it was going very quick when I was in the lead. So yeah, I had to let Wout pass.
So that was also a crucial moment in the race, and allowing someone to be in front of you so you can lift the coast to save that fuel as well. So you couldn't be in front at all then, could you?
Yeah, a bit, like a couple of laps. That's why I was gonna go into the lead earlier maybe, but yeah, on lap 25, I knew that I'd saved enough fuel to just go all in for the last laps. And I think my tire wear towards the end was just a little bit better than Bouter, like on the exit, just pulling a little bit. So yeah, that's why I went for the lead early.
Were you nervous about that double overtake like Walter had as well? Because you were second, and I think Sweet Crown forced the overtake on you to overtake Nathan. So were you ever nervous about that double overtake effect on that straight?
No, because I had the ERS and I think the straight line speed to yeah, just to defend myself, and yeah, the ERS management was very good. So I just had ERS for every attack. And Nathan was flashing, I think, for the whole stint, so he wasn't really a threat.
So it's
I
just
don't think
between you and
he
Walter.
got above 20%. Never.
Yeah, I think at one point he was yeah, threatening me a bit, but then I can just switch without it. That's the thing. We can just kinda work together.
That was the whole game plan then between you and Walter.
Well, it wasn't really a plan, but that's just how it goes. If you get attacked when you're second, you go into P1, and then yeah, vice versa.
Tony, you got any questions for Jeroen?
Well, it was a great race. The ERS management was very good. I know you're very strong with ERS management. Noticed it a lot last season, the season before. Just tell me your thoughts, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I think on this track you save very quickly. Just yeah, I don't know. I'm just doing my thing. If I don't have to use, I don't use. I just the ERS is built up. So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Great recovery drive from Austria too.
Sorry?
A great recovery drive after Austria too, Jeroen.
Yeah, it's good to get a win, and it's been long since I won a race. So.
5 races, I think.
Yeah, Singapore, where you got the win after. Is that bumping past you?
Yeah, that was a good race.
Yeah. So next week then, Melbourne, Australia. You confident?
I might go absolutely.
Do we just hate the track?
What an awful track, and yeah, it's a weak track for me, so we'll see.
So you're just looking to keep it clean, score points, try to stay in this championship fight very early on, and just get as many points as possible.
Yeah, I'm just taking race by race.
There's only 12 races this season, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if I can attend all because I'll be on holiday as well. So yeah, I'm just
where you going?
trying. I'll miss 2 races already for holiday. So
where you going?
To Greece.
Ooh.
So
You
yeah,
one's
I'd rather
getting
be in
tan.
Greece than racing Melbourne, but unfortunately I'm home from Melbourne. So yeah.
I don't know if you looked at the calendar this season, Jeroen, but which track is your strongest on this season's calendar? If you've looked at it.
Let me grab it. I have no idea what the calendar is.
Qatar is after Melbourne, Shanghai, Montreal, Barcelona, Abu Dhabi, Silverstone, Miami, Imola, and Sao Paulo.
Yeah, Qatar
Your
is
Ron
very
loves
strong
a
for me.
Brazil
I'll
race.
miss that. Yeah, I'm missing Qatar and China. China I'm very happy about because that is an awful track. Canada, I'm home, yeah. I think the rest of the calendar is very good. Yeah, looks like strong tracks for me.
I think where you'll be most confident definitely will be in Brazil.
Yeah, no, I think Silverstone, Abu Dhabi, Miami, Imola, and Brazil. I think I'll have very good chance of winning.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you for your time as well, and congratulations to the win once again, mate. Congrats on the strategy, the strategic moves as well, tactical throughout the whole race. You're on the edge, and you managed to push it really well. So, once again, massive well done and congratulations. You're welcome, mate. So I think that's it. But Tony, thanks for joining me, mate. I hope to see you racing, but if not, join me back. You can join me back for next week if you want.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure commentating for the first time. It's been good. I'm glad I did it on a really good race as well, where it was just amazing to watch. Aside I couldn't race, I did like the track, but hopefully I'm back next week. I have no idea.
Anyways,
it's been good. It's good to commentate with you again after like 2 years.
it is, mate. I'm glad to commentate alongside you once again. It's been great. Anyways, join me back next week at the Melbourne Grand Prix for Tier 4. Join me back at 7:30, and for Tier 1, join me back with Hedgehog or Tony at 8:30 for the Australian Grand Prix. But for now, it's goodbye and enjoy your weekend. See you all later.